Road block.
This is the channel of We Rebuilding We. Check this out. I have something to tell y'all, man. A man dies after being surrounded by 30 ATVs and his BMW was CARJacked in Harlem on 125 My G. A man has died 2 weeks after his car was surrounded by 30 ATVs in an assault and carjacking following a fender bender. Officials say that at around 10 p.m. on November 4, 45-year-old Arthur Cook was driving his Mercedes near East 125 Street when he was suddenly surrounded by more than 24 ATVs and dirt bikes. One person hit Cook's passenger side mirror, and when he pulled over to check the damage to his car, an argument broke out between Cook and the bikers. Several members of the group surrounded and attacked Cook, who was allegedly on a date with his significant other at the time, according to a GoFundMe page. At least one person pulled a gun on him before a man, who is not believed to be involved in the beating, reportedly drove off from the scene in Cook's luxury car. He was taken to a local hospital where he died from his injuries weeks later, officials said. Cook's death has been deemed a homicide as the investigation continues. Dirt bikes and ATVs are illegal to drive on city streets. They are unregistered, their drivers are unlicensed and uninsured. And for many New Yorkers, they contribute to a feeling of lawlessness in the city. Police have been cracking down in recent months, seizing and destroying thousands of them this year alone. We've seized 9,750 dirt bikes and ATVs this year. It's an incredible number, and yet it doesn't seem like it made a dent. They are still out there, and we continue to round them up each and every weekend, said NYPD Chief of Department Kenneth Corey. The victim was known to be a court special advocate for Exodus Transitional Community. His colleagues say he worked tirelessly to keep young men and women out of jail and off the streets. He's our gentle giant. He was 6'7", but a person that was a de-escalator, not a person that was aggressive towards anybody, friend and colleague Carmen Arroyo said. He was a mentor to all his participants and everybody that he knew and loved. So it just doesn't make sense. It hurt us to our hearts. Founder and executive director Julio Medina released the following statement: Arthur was a beloved member of our community, and we are all devastated by the loss. Like so many people at Exodus, we considered Arthur a member of our family, and his story is similar to the thousands of others we serve. We watched as his mindset shifted from one of hopelessness since serving his sentence to one of hope and aspirations, and he was always helping his participants do the same. To Arthur, the value of his work was apparent when he got to see the joy that those he helped realize that there is light at the end of the tunnel. That meant everything to Arthur.
Road block.
Police have arrested a man accused of manufacturing and possessing 14 ghost guns and having hundreds of rounds of illegal ammo in his apartment.
All right, Stephanie Bertini joins us live from the Upper East Side where that arrest was made, explaining how a picture of the suspect's child helped tip off officers to this cache of weapons. Stephanie.
Good evening. This man is facing some very serious charges. The NYPD executed a search warrant inside his apartment here in the Upper East Side, and they say now he's facing some big trouble. 41-year-old Corey Davis is facing a string of weapons charges. It's alleged he was making ghost guns inside his Upper East Side apartment, investigated by NYPD detectives and indicted by the Manhattan District Attorney. This photo just released shows the evidence they say they have against him. Davis is accused of manufacturing and possessing 14 ghost guns. Investigators say they also found 400 rounds of ammunition, a high-capacity magazine, and nearly 24 other magazines, plus tools and parts for constructing ghost guns.
If you're caught in possession of a ghost gun in the city of New York, you will be charged the same way you would be charged as if you had a gun that was manufactured by Glock, Smith & Wesson, or Uzi. So it's still in illegal possession as it relates to the ghost gun.
Criminal justice expert Darren Porcher points out that ghost guns made from different firearm parts are becoming a big problem in New York City.
When we look over the last year, the NYPD has recovered more ghost guns than any other point in history, because criminals have identified that if there's no serial number on the weapon, it makes it more challenging for law enforcement to connect that firearm to the individual in question.
Detectives say Davis has been purchasing gun parts and accessories from several different websites since June of 2020. The NYPD started investigating after they say Davis sent a photo of his 7-year-old son holding 2 firearms to family and friends in a group chat. Someone in the chat tipped off police, and the NYPD executed a search warrant. In a statement, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg said in part, the allegations make it evident that by manufacturing these weapons, Davis put not only the public, but a child in serious peril. The DA's office and the NYPD partnered in the Ghost Guns initiative in 2020. They say this case, Steve, is one example of how they're cracking down.
Block.